It's finally here, and it is glorious. Guys, after almost 7 long years, we finally have not one, but 2 new Super Smash Bros. Games. And if you're like me, you could not be more excited. For some of us, Smash isn't just a video game. It's transcended and become both a nostalgic reminder of the past and a teaser for Nintendo's future. And whether you play Melee, Brawl, or PM, we can all agree on one thing. These games are awesome. Since I released my Melee vs. Brawl video, I've had many comments asking my opinions of the brand new games, and I thought that considering this was sort of the year of Smash, not only for Nintendo, but also on this channel, the end of 2014 was the perfect time to reflect on a great year for the series as a whole. Will I let my elitist Melee ways cloud my judgment? Is the game really as beautiful as all of the hype says? This is the episode I tackle it all. So sit back, grab your amiibo, and let's dig in. So at this point, I'm sure many of you have seen countless reviews from various sorts of media, but this review is going to work a little differently. This is what I like to call a nitpicky review, as I'll be analyzing this game to death. I do this because next to The Legend of Zelda, there is no series of games I hold in such high regards, and because I want to make sure I hit everything in both of these games so we can finally move on from this series for a little bit. It's worth noting that a lot of this review, especially the nitpicks, will be somewhat tongue-in-cheek. I'm aware that many people who have seen our past videos likely think I'm a Melee snob, so I'll be playing into that persona a bit just for fun. So with that disclaimer out of the way, let's get into it. This is the good, the bad, and the ugly of Super Smash Bros. Wii U. And kind of 3DS. The pros. Yeah, we're starting this review generically because I have to give mention to how good this game looks, but more importantly sounds. Barring Mario Kart 8, this is the best looking game on the Wii U, and the level of polish is astounding. There's so many themes and design elements going on, from the bright worlds of Kirby and Mario, to the dark atmosphere in the Metroid levels, to the anime-style Fire Emblem characters, and Sakurai and his team nailed them all faithfully and mixed them together perfectly to create one cohesive Smash world. The graphics aren't only better, but they're also brighter compared to Brawl's darker palette. And speaking of Brawl, the gameplay is similar, but perfected. Yes, wave dashing and the glitches of yore are still gone, but without tripping and a faster pace, the game moves like lightning compared to Brawl's slower pace. The gameplay works how it always has, with one notable difference. In this game, you can no longer edgehog an opponent, as the last one to touch the edge will grab it, knocking you off in the process. At first I didn't like this new mechanic, as I thought it slowed down the pace and characters like Bowser were taking far too long to KO. But after reducing the number of stocks to 3, and a few patches from Nintendo, I've grown to really love this feature. At the very least, it gives these games their own flavor, and I appreciate a new take on an old formula. And speaking of formula, Smash has always been one of the best local multiplayer games every generation, and this may be the best experience yet. 8-player Smash with a choice of 50 characters makes local multiplayer the freshest it's ever been. The game features both classic and beautifully detailed new stages, my personal favorites being Mario Galaxy and the Kalos Pokemon League, as well as a ton of new and old options like Special Smash to ensure your matches never feel stale. And if that wasn't enough, they finally did it. Smash is now online, and it runs great. In fact, the only time I've ever had any issues was coincidentally the first game I tried recording for this review. One laggy fight in 200 matches is an incredible performance ratio, and on the Wii U especially, this feature is probably the most important for longtime Smash fans. My favorite part is that you can have 2 players battling online in For Glory, which perfectly blends online functionality with the rush of local multiplayer. I'll delve into this feature a bit more later on, but trust me when I say overall, this is a promising addition to the series, and through updates and patches it's bound to only get better. And if you have no one to play with, fear not, as Sakurai and his team have single player covered. Many fan favorite modes return, such as Classic, Stadium, All-Star, and Events, all featuring some new mechanic, such as the way you battle in Classic mode, or how now many of them are co-op capable. The biggest new feature though is Smash Tour, a Mario Party Smash Bros. Mashup that many reviewers have found lacking, to put it mildly. I have to disagree though. While I do believe the developers could have, and should have, done more with this mode, and it can be confusing at first, I have a lot of fun playing Smash Tour. I do think Smash Run was better overall. I don't understand why it didn't have online, but it was a fun and inventive way to get special moves and customizations easier. In the end, I like to think of Smash Tour or Smash Run like playing an old card game. It may not be the best option for entertainment, and it always takes forever for everyone to grasp the rules of a new game at the beginning, but once I'm there with my friends and the deck is shuffled, I always have a smile on my face. The last two things worth mentioning are perhaps my favorite features in these games, and I feel they really add an element of accomplishment and customization respectively. The first is the insane challenge wall. There was one in Brawl, of course, but this is resoundingly the hardest achievement hunt in any Smash Bros. Game thus far. The top two rows in particular will keep any completionist coming back for months in order to 100% this game. Unless you're the actual completionist, of course. I've already put in 100 hours, and I'll likely put in 100 more in order to get every last trophy I possibly can. And quick side note, I love the trophies in this game. From the crazy amount of them to the trophy cases, I seriously can't get enough of these things. The last feature is one you've all heard a million times, but it cannot be understated how phenomenal it is, and that's the music. The extensive library is the best soundtrack ever assembled in video game history, a feat once held by Brawl, but this game even blows that out of the water. Remixes, 8-bit tunes, and third-party soundtracks are abound, and it's simply nostalgic bliss for anyone who owned a Nintendo console growing up. From the retro Mega Man 2 remix to Super Mario Galaxy's orchestral heaven, this game's soundtrack is incomparable. I seriously don't think other reviewers are talking about this soundtrack enough. I got lost in the My Music section for a good 40 minutes upon boot up because it's just that good. And the scariest part is, I was missing almost half the tracks at that point. I'm sorry to ramble and we have to move on, but I love Nintendo games and nothing transports me back to some of my favorite gaming experiences like this astounding compilation of music. So yeah, this game has a lot of great stuff, but trust me, it's not all sugar plums and Kirby hats. So let's get into the few downsides this game offers, and remember, I will be addressing its problems and offering some valid criticism. The cons! First things first, I need to get something off of my chest. I don't hate Brawl. In fact, I can say with a RandomTens guarantee that as a kid, I put more time into Brawl than I ever did Melee. Most of this time spent was on the trophy wall and that elusive taboo trophy, but a huge chunk was in the subspace emissary. My favorite part of that game was the way in which I got to see all of my favorite Nintendo icons interact in various ways, all to save the world. The plot was often nonsensical, and yeah, it could be tedious, but the cutscenes were incredible, and as a beat-em-up, I thought it was a great way to incorporate single player into the series. This is why I'm extremely disappointed with the Wii U's lack of single player mode. Yeah, I like Smash Tour, but there's no excuse why Melee had an adventure mode and this game didn't even try. If you have the rights to 50 incredible characters and the resources to build a story of Avengers proportions, you do it. I know about the development time, Sakurai's issue with leaks, and all of that stuff, but I would have gladly waited a whole other year if it meant creating a living, breathing world for these amazing characters to interact with it. In the meantime, they could have released the 3DS version to tide us over, and nobody would be that disappointed. It's just a shame that they came so close to perfecting a wonderful single-player mode in Brawl, and then for them to take 10 steps back is honestly really annoying. Insert comment saying, "This video is honestly really annoying." Regardless though, I understand why they took the path they did, and this is my only major realistic complaint about the game. In terms of lesser problems, we've all heard about the lackluster stage builder and the fact that there's barely any unlockable characters. Seriously, why is the starting roster this big? But my main ones stem from interface and online. For starters, It's ridiculous that you have to assign a control scheme to a name and then continuously choose that name every single time. The amount of online matches I've began with the default controller settings is laughably big, and it's frustrating we have to change it back for every new mode we go into. In Classic, you actually have to change it after each run-through. This makes getting all the trophies really difficult and kind of tedious. More tedious, at least. The other online blunder is the same as Mario Kart 8's, in that you can only talk pre-game and in the lobby. I get what you're doing, Nintendo, but please stop parenting us like we're all 8. You and I both know that your recent successes with Smash and the reason the GameCube adapters are sold out everywhere isn't because of your budding tyke market. Yes, the Wii was for kids, but the Wii U is gaining traction because of an older, die-hard generation who loves you. So please, just show us a little respect in return. The next problem is kind of funny and how stupid it sounds, but why is there no retry button in event mode? At first it wasn't a huge deal, but after trying to beat many of the events on hard mode and having to retry many times, it got frustrating, especially in the ones in which you select a character. It's bad enough that this Rosalina just messed me up in a few seconds, but the fact I can't even try again immediately is ridiculous. There's a retry button on Stadium, Target Blast, and multi-man smashes, so what happened with event mode? But that's honestly the only real gripes I have with this game. I mean, sure, the roster is very unbalanced in terms of series representation, and it is starting to show signs of repetitiveness in its layout, and it has an air of Sakurai-ness to it. And yeah, I'm actually really disappointed Skyward Sword Zelda never made it in, but the brunette one from Twilight Princess did. Zelda is the best part of Skyward Sword. In regards to the clone situation, I really have no opinion one way or another. I find it hilarious that people lose their shit over Dark Pit being unlockable, but Toon Link's on the starting roster. At least Dark Pit's final smash looks different. Also, no Lucas ult for Ness, but Dr. Mario's a separate character entirely? What the f*** is that about? Anyways, yeah, there are some odd liberties and some weird choices with the game, and some I definitely do not agree with, but honestly, that stuff is all superficial anyway. This is a great game, and I think we need to be happy with the fact Sakurai even made another, and man oh man did his team do a fantastic job.
Final verdict.
I'm really feeling it!
Well, you know the pros, you know the cons, but I want to leave you with one more story that I think perfectly summarizes this game. 2 weeks ago, I went to a pretty major Smash Bros. Tournament. This place had Street Fighter, Project Melee, this game, and of course Melee itself, the Golden Child. I'd been playing a lot of Smash 3DS at the time, but decided to enter the Melee tournament for fun. I did okay and came third in a pool of 8, which isn't bad considering some of the guys I was up against. Throughout the day, as I sat there, quietly making only the required amounts of conversation with my rivals, I would constantly look over towards the kids playing Smash Bros. Wii U. With Melee, there was an unmistakable sense of competitiveness and an elitism I hadn't yet seen from that community. I was new to this branch, and all of my competition made me feel like it. Everyone was quietly focused on their own games and filling out brackets, but over at the Wii U stations, this was not the case. There were crowds of people roaring with laughter, people helping others get better with new and interesting characters, and most of all, I could see people were in the very moment of creating friendships with massive smiles on their faces. After I finished my pool, I decided to go over and get in on one of the games of Smash Wii U, and you know what? It was the most fun I had all day. I don't know if this game will ever become competitive, but that day, I was reminded that this is not at all what makes a game great. I love Melee, and I always will, but honestly, this game puts a smile on my face while I played it, whether I was winning or losing. And honestly, isn't that how it should be? Thank you for a wonderful year of Smash, and whether you agree with me or not, I think one thing is ultimately certain. These games, all of these games, fucking rock. Smash Bros. For Wii U gets a 9 out of 10, and should be purchased along with every Wii U sold. It's the best party game you will ever own.
I got through that pretty good!
Well, there you have it. That's my Smash Bros. Wii U review. I know I didn't really touch on the 3DS version, But as I said in the video, I like Smash Run, and honestly, it's a portable Smash Bros. Game, so it's pretty awesome regardless. In the review, I meant to touch on a few of the newer features like Target Blast and Crazy Orders. In regards to that, the only one really worth mentioning was Master Orders and Crazy Orders, and I have a good time with it, so if that's worth anything, here you go. But that's it. We're now at the end of the year of Smash, and I don't really know what to do. I mean, we made a versus video with Melee vs. Brawl. We made a hypothetical video with Will Smash Save the Wii U. We made a Taylor Swift parody. I mean, where do we go from here? I guess that's it.
Wait, Stan, what are you doing?
Roy?
There's still Zelda, Star Fox, and so much more.
Yeah, but...
It's gonna be the best year of Nintendo. Now stop your grumbling and do a barrel roll.
Well, guys, you heard the man. We will see you next year. And it's officially gonna be one of Nintendo's best. Stay tuned, subscribe, like, all that fun stuff that, you know, whatever. And thank you, most of all, for your support. We've grown a lot this year. We couldn't have done it without all of you awesome people. So once again, I know I say it a lot, but seriously, thank you, and I hope you have a great holiday season. Bye. Yeah, I think we lost. I don't know. Overtime.
Oh, shit.
Overtime. Okay.
Oh. Got it.
Oh,
Fuck.
you're good.
Okay,
You're so good at this game. I got it. I got it.
No, you don't. You're
Spam.
fine.
Spam. Yes!
What?
Yes! Yes! No way! No freaking way! Yes! In your face! Ike and Ganon, you suck. Wow, I'm the Pika Master.